to Ghouls Night In, the spooky chat show with your best ghoul friends. I'm Penny Snark,
And I'm Midge Munster.
and it is a very special time of the year, Midge.
I'm so glad I didn't do this episode.
As I was like working on this, I was just like, is this gonna be the day that Midge and I bring the
It truly
same
almost
topic?
was. That's so funny. But yeah, hit me with what time of year is it, Penny?
It's Halloween hunting time.
Woo!
Woohoo! Yes, and I thought, obviously, for those who don't know, Midge is pretty much literally a professional Halloween hunter.
I do have a
Um,
shirt that says that,
you
so,
do. It must be true.
it's official, yeah.
And I would call myself like an invested amateur. Uh,
Yeah, you're on it. I see you out there.
right. So I know we talked about this a little bit last year, but it seems like the kind of thing that, you'd want to revisit and talk about. So I just wanted to chat a little bit about getting into this Halloween hunting season.
Heck yeah. Well, I'm excited because I started to prep this episode, so I do have a lot to bring to the conversation.
Excellent. Yeah, well, we already talked on an earlier episode about some predictions for trends and decor styles. I don't know if you have any changes. I know we talked about the nostalgia, kind of the 80s, 90s Halloween, which I think we definitely are kind of seeing that come through this year.
Yeah, I've been noticing just culturally, I'm seeing a lot of like yeah, because I haunt the YouTube space.
Mm-hmm.
I'm seeing a lot of people like doing videos that are like rewatching the first season of Goosebumps, my honest review. Like,
Yeah,
there's a
yeah.
lot of that nostalgia factor even just culturally happening, and so I definitely think we'll see it reflected in some decor. I hope so. I would love to see like a whole line of it.
Right. I'm a little bit worried that it's too prescient and that maybe like we'll see it as like an actual line next year.
Sure.
But hopefully we get some this year too.
I think we saw it enough on the tail end of last year that I
Mhm.
think people were like, aware that it was becoming popular. Because the first thing I remember seeing were the Monster Creations trick or treat bucket, the McDonald's trick or treat bucket
Mhm.
purses that they released last year. And I feel like as soon as that hit, I started seeing all kinds of weird 90s stuff popping up. So I think there was enough, what's it called? Like, I almost said garble. That's not what it's called.
Careful.
I don't know what garble is.
I don't even know where you're going with that.
So I can't even follow that thread. That's valid. I don't know either, but there were enough chatter, I guess, is what I was
Yes.
trying to say.
See, and now also I'm thinking like not this is just about nostalgic Halloween in general. Now I'm like, I should ask my mom if she still has, because I definitely had like the full set of like the chicken
The
nuggets with their
nuggets.
Halloween
I
costumes.
was literally talking to someone yesterday about the fact that I was gonna go raid my mom's house for the nuggets.
Yes. I feel like they're still there. My parents never get rid of anything.
Oh yeah, no, it's the beauty of having boomer parents that are hoarders.
Yes. They have a full size basement just full of all sorts of wacky stuff.
Yes.
And I know, I think you mentioned this in a YouTube video, but I am definitely crossing my fingers that we see some mid century themed stuff at Joann's, and some of their Halloween fabrics definitely have a very strong mid century vibe.
I am too, and I know that the patterns I've seen in the past, right, or that
Hmm.
like last year, I think I mentioned this in that video, that kind of black and white stripe and jack-o'-lantern theme they did last year. It came out in the fabric first,
Hmm.
and then the line came out later. Uh, and the same with the deco, the darkened deco 2 years ago. We saw a bunch of like spooky deco fabric, and then the line. So the trends would say
Yes.
that they pay for an artist to create art and then build fabric slash lines off of that. So yeah, I'm really hoping they use that Johnny Yannick artwork because it's so good. I
Yes, I love it. I have not been to my Joann's yet. That's kind of next on my list because I definitely want to pick up some of that for some fabulous Halloween outfits.
Yes, it's so cute. And I think that there was enough buzz when At Home attempted it that somebody else would try to do it better.
Mhm.
Sorry, At Home. I know
Sorry,
you're
at home.
listening.
Yes, and at home, as we saw, seems like they're probably bringing back their hillbilly Halloween, whatever it's called.
Oh, Halloween Hoedown. I think Hillbilly Halloween is a more accurate. They should call it that. Yeah, I've also seen a lot of people sharing screenshots of a tag that says "Witch's Garden,"
Ooh,
um, which which oh,
which?
is not surprising. I think you and I have talked about that. That I was pretty certain that the kind of prevalence of cottage core
Mm-hmm.
and witchcrafty um, excitement around that kind of type of decor I think is going to probably continue honestly even into the next couple of years. I think that it's been a really
Yeah,
big resurgence of that.
definitely. And I that Michael's collection from last year got a ton of good buzz and had lots of cool stuff. So it makes sense that some other retailers would be like, I want to get on this
Yeah,
cottage core witchy vibe too.
I will say what I've seen of the Witch's Garden line throughout home, which is just a couple pieces, but it looks a lot darker than
Mm.
the Michaels was a lot more, natural wood tones and kind of um like floral, more pastelly, not pastel, but like more colorful.
Yeah.
This one looks a lot more like deep, like jewel, like kind of dark greens and blacks. Which would maybe appeal to some people who are more into a darker aesthetic than the more I think I don't know how else to describe the Michaels except like lighter. It was just a lighter
Yeah.
witch aesthetic.
Yes, for sure. Yeah, I am definitely intrigued by also some of the photos that people are theorizing might be Michael samples from this year.
The
The
vampire like
yes, just
mhm.
very gothic, which I love. Just seems a little bit like I don't want to be like classy isn't the right word, but like I would say like a little
But
bit
is it
more
classy?
a little grown up gothic, which I
Ooh.
appreciate just because like I love, jack-o'-lanterns and spooky ghosts with the rest of everybody, but like as many people do, I like to find full-time decor out during Halloween
Yeah.
and some of those more kind of like gothic pieces that won't seem out of place being up in your home year round. I'm definitely very into.
I think that's why that John Darien line for Target a couple years ago was so
Yes.
popular. Like
So
people were so
good.
excited because it was, like you said, grown up goth. It was very dark, dark aesthetic, more
Yeah.
more usable for sure. And yeah, I don't know. The photos I've seen of those samples, I'm cautiously optimistic, but some of it does look a little cheesy.
Yeah.
But I think because some of it looks like a red and black and gold iteration of the pink and white
Mhm.
kind of romantic goth they did. Was that two? Was that yeah, just last year, 2 years ago? I
I
don't
think
know.
it was who knows? Yeah,
Time is
time is
irrelevant.
nothing.
Um,
That is always my issue with Michaels is sorry, I mean, I'm not sorry, Michael, you should do better.
Come
A
on,
lot of the
Michael, get it
times
together.
a lot of the time stuff, like, will look good in photos, and then I see it in person,
And it
and it
looks
just
really
does not
cheap.
it just looks kinda chintzy, and I'm
Yeah,
like, "Meh." So, I'm hoping that at least a few of these will come out, looking cool, and I do like dark florals and things like that,
I
which
do love
seems
a
like it
dark
might be
floral.
in there
Yeah.
too.
I saw a boy howdy, Penny. I don't I sent you the candelabras I bought yesterday.
Yes, those are
Um I
fabulous.
bought those kind of banking on Michael's having that type of line this year.
Mhm.
Kind of going for that yeah, romantic gothic vampire like interview with a vampire feel. Um So here's hoping.
Yeah.
Go check out my Penny did a great episode about the taxidermy with the Oddities Expo not too long ago, and now I will be sharing a video of the walkthrough of the expo next week. So
Heck yeah.
check that out and come see my candelabras, which sounds creepy, but it's not.
And you actually, as always, you're leading into what my next question was, which is, are there things that you're specifically looking for or like concepts that you're specifically shopping for in your home this year? Because as people who listen to the podcast know, I moved. So I am extremely
Yeah.
excited to have a new space to decorate
Oh, that's so
and
fun.
just different areas. And I have a balcony now, so it gives me a little
Ooh,
bit of opportunity for some outdoor pieces, like not anything like as elaborate as like a full lawn, but I know it's like one of those balconies where it's on top of the porch, so there are like columns on the side, and my sister says that she sees people in this neighborhood like put their jack-o'-lanterns on those.
cool.
So I'm thinking that I might do stuff like that this year because it has always seemed kind of pointless for me to carve a pumpkin and then just have it like sit in my living room and rot
And
with
then
no one to see it.
pick it up by the stem.
Yes.
Throw
Oh,
back to episode 1. Uh,
yes.
um yeah, I'm excited to see what you do with a new space. That's always so much
Mhm.
fun when you get to play with new spaces for the first time.
Yes.
You should get one of those just like 30-foot inflatables for your porch.
Right. I did have a moment where I was like, could I fit a 12-foot skeleton on this balcony?
I
And
saw.
how dangerous might that be?
Have you seen? There's a guy on. I think it was a man on TikTok that they live in like Brooklyn. They have just like a little concrete pad in the back of their brownstone, and they had the 12-foot skeleton just like taking up the whole patio. It was so funny. It's like standing in between all these other buildings.
Oh my God,
Oh, it
that's
cracked me
amazing.
up. But yeah, I actually this week I started releasing some of my theme announcements for the year on
Mm.
Patreon, and I'm still being a little sneaky secretive about
Yes.
it. But yes, I'm definitely looking out for things. I mean, I think it's no surprise to anyone who has been keeping up with me and knows that I bought a 12-foot coffin, like a not 12-foot, like a 9-foot coffin, on Facebook Marketplace this year. So I'm definitely looking for ways to incorporate that into my space. I will say what I am doing is doing all new themes this year from anything I've
Ooh.
ever done. Is that a strong financial choice? No, but I
But
just
will it
really
make
want.
you happy? Yes.
I just really wanted to have fun this year and try to do something totally different than what I've done before. I always kind of do an orange and black traditional jack-o'-lantern-y feel in my living room. And I've done some variation of like kind of a skeleton, golden black skeleton banquety type thing in my
Mhm.
dining room. Other than, well, last year I did the witch thing because Michael's. Um, but I don't know. It's been a while since I've challenged myself to do something that I wouldn't normally do. And so this year is going to get weird at my house, and I'm very excited.
Excellent.
We will still be doing the probably the Beetlejuice yard display though, and I'm going to try to expand on that quite a bit.
Mhm. That's exciting.
What
Yeah,
about you?
I don't know that I have any specific things in mind. I definitely like will have to see how my existing pieces kind of fit into a new space, so everything is going to be a little bit different, which is exciting. I like, having the opportunity because it is really hard, when you build up a collection of stuff and you want to keep using it, but also you want things to feel new and exciting.
Hmm.
So it is a good opportunity to kind of stretch that muscle and maybe pair things in different ways. I am hopefully by then I'll actually have my dining table in my apartment. It is not here yet. There's been some math happening about
Oh
what
no.
vehicle I know can transport. this
Oh
table.
no.
But I have never had I haven't had a dining table in the past couple years, because I just
Ah,
had like the one big living room. So I'm excited to have like, maybe a little table scape
I love a spooky
situation, a little
tablescape. I
spooky
really do.
tablescape. Yes, and especially since I have a lot of historic kind of flair and the built-ins and stuff. Kind of getting a bit of a gothic glam feel in there, I think is
Yeah, you've got
part of the plan.
a beautiful space to play with for spooky time. If y'all don't already subscribe to Penny's Patreon, I would 10 of 10 recommend. And she has a great apartment tour up where you can see her very cool new space. Uh, it's gonna
And,
be I'm hyped. Do you that you I might be jumping ahead.
mm,
When do you think you'll start pulling stuff out this year?
ooh, yeah, that is a good question. Usually I start at the beginning of September
Hmm.
bringing things out, but I don't, but also like as I like start buying things, I don't put them away. So like if I
Sure.
buy something in July, it'll probably be out throughout the season.
Yeah.
So some things might sneak out earlier than that. I've actually like been slowly like moving all of my boxes of holiday decor like up to the attic so that they're not in my way all the time
Yeah.
as I'm putting things together, but it does make it more tempting because I'm like, ooh, you're all just right here.
Here you
Like
are. Yeah.
I've got like my one of my like the little stacked like three pumpkins that's just been sitting in the corner this whole time, and I'm like, maybe you just live here. You're
Hey,
just my little
yeah.
jack-o'-lantern buddy.
You know
So
I'm an advocate for a jack-o'-lantern corner. I'm a firm
yes,
believer.
yeah. So definitely early September, possibly before then if I can't wait.
I'm having a real it's a problem this year. And it's I mean not that I think we can both agree for us and our community in general, it's always a problem to want to start really
Yes.
early. Taylor and I have had an agreement most of our time living together that I can start decorating on my birthday, which is September 8th. And that's fair,
Hmm.
that's
Yeah.
it's a month out. Uh, I can almost guarantee it's going to be August for me this year.
Yeah.
I'm already I am planning in a way I have not planned before, and I'm getting too freaking excited, and I want to start today.
Yes. Oh, I mean, yeah, I know how that goes. It's just so exciting when you want to get things together, especially when you have new ideas and you want to put everything together. Like, how are you supposed to resist?
Yeah. Ah.
Ah. Oh, so this is kind of related to that. Do you do any kind of pre-Halloween like review and like pruning of your collection, or do you wait until after, or do you not prune and just keep everything forever?
Yeah, I have not pruned yet, and actually, I this is coming up. Th- Hi, welcome to this episode, which is just a, a plug for my channel. I have an episode coming up, not
Hey.
this coming week, but the next, that I am doing. I am taking inventory of all my stock and figuring out what I'm keeping. I have too much, and
Yeah.
I'm gonna get more. So,
That's the
uh,
problem is because every year there's new stuff that you really
yeah.
really want to add. I definitely tend to do like a post Halloween review. So generally like as I'm decorating, I try not to put pressure on myself to take out like every single thing, and I'm just like what
Hmm.
am I excited to set up? What I want to do, and then kind of at the end of like the season be like, okay, so like what didn't I take out? Is it just
Right.
because it didn't fit like kind of the vibe I was going for this year, or am I not excited about this item anymore and should pass it on? And there's not a whole lot that I've given away, but there's definitely a few things where I'm like, okay, like I definitely and this was actually one of my other topics, which is that something that I bought just out of like sheer excitement because I was like, here's a Halloween thing. I want that. and I bought it and I didn't actually need it and it didn't really go with my stuff.
I absolutely have those things too. That especially this time of year when you yeah, like when you just get excited to see something out and unfortunately the truth of the matter is most of the good stuff comes out later in the year.
Hmm.
And there's usually a first wave of like stuff that is fine and we all get excited and buy a bunch of stuff and then late August hits and we get a whole nother like group of things and I'm like, well, damn, I wish I would have saved my money for that. I definitely have what you're describing, like bottom bin items that for a couple years now haven't made it out of the bins,
Hmm.
and so that's kind of why I'm like, yeah, I need to go through and review what I'm really using. And I'm sure you'll find this year, things that I bought when Taylor and I lived in our apartment that I
Oh,
bought for
yep.
specific spaces or purposes just aren't working here anymore. So maybe we should do a like a an online Halloween garage sale with some other creators. Go through
That
our
would be
stuff
great.
and y'all can pick through our crazy collections.
Right. Yeah. And it's so hard, especially like in the past couple years. Like shopping has just gotten so aggressive
Right. It's
because,
like if I don't get it now,
yeah,
yeah.
because like there's the resellers, and in the past couple years, there's been so many delays that you feel like, well, if I like this at all, I have to buy it now, or else I might never see it again. And then
Right.
you end up with stuff that you're like, oh, this was a panic decision, and I
Yeah,
don't actually need this.
absolutely. Yeah. And that's, Miranda specifically is a big, her kind of big advice has always been, leave it. And like, if you're still thinking about it a few days later, like go back and get it. And now you can't really do that.
Hmm.
It's not
Yep.
going to be there.
Yes, that because that was also definitely always my thing where it's like, okay, like I'll, take a first, even at like somewhere like Target, like take a first lap at the Target, like kind of see what's out there. And, I'll come back to Target over the next couple months and maybe I'll pick
Right.
something up each time. And now sometimes you never see some of those initial items
Yeah.
ever again. And you're like, well, dang it. I wish I'd bought that.
Yeah. It's tricky to know what to do. And I don't know. I guess like that's a bad way to be, but my brain's like, I'd rather have more Halloween stuff than not have it, which is, you know, capitalism at its finest. But
Right. Yeah. I mean, I think it's definitely one of those things where it's like if I consider your overall budget and you're like, all right, like if I can afford this, then maybe I'll give it a shot and take it and see what happens, but like it's also okay to let things go. And
mhm.
also, I mean, I know this is something that we talk about every time we talk about Halloween shopping, but you're always going to find something cool that is by, maybe a maker or someone smaller.
Yeah.
So that makes it a little bit easier to surrender some of those like big box items, or like I'm still mad that I didn't get that Bath and Body Works hand. I still want it, but I'm like, that's okay. I've bought lots of other cool things that, are supporting smaller makers and that not 100,000 people have. So, like, there's a benefit to that, even though I love that stupid hand.
I will say, I think I have been focusing a lot more, even though it's still very early in the season this year. I've been focusing more on trying to find unique items that are
Hmm.
not big box. Like, I mean, that's I was very excited about my candelabras. I've
Yes.
been doing a lot of Facebook marketplacing and trying to like my coffin, and
Yeah.
I found those the McDonald's trick or treat buckets that were vintage ones that I picked up, like six of them for $20. Was very excited about that. So I've been trying to do a lot more of that and find unique items that I'm really excited about. Like I'd rather spend a little more money on a piece that is really unique and that I am really like hyped about using. Um, and I think I'm starting to, and that's people like us who are crazy. Uh, once your collection gets to a certain level of like largeness, uh it's like, okay, well, I have enough items to really create like a great decor scape throughout my home. So now, like, what can I invest in? What like
Hmm.
really cool, crazy, weird pieces can I invest in to take this to the next level? Because I think I'm starting to lean a lot more atmospheric with my
Yeah.
decor, like trying to create more of a. I'm such a theater kid. I'm like, I'm creating a set. I'm setting the scene.
Setting the scene. I was gonna say you're making a vibe.
Yeah,
Gotta set the vibe, you guys.
exactly.
And I think also I'm actually looking into my pile of Halloween stuff that has not gone anywhere yet. It's also a good opportunity to like DIY or hack things. Like I always
Yeah,
love when I see people, spray paint stuff black and boom, suddenly it's a cool Halloween thing.
yeah,
Or right now at this very moment, I'm looking at a little Halloween guy that I painted at a pottery painting place as like an adventure, and he's from a vintage mold, so he looked very cool
yeah.
and
I
vintage,
loved
but
that so much.
personalized to me. And so that was something that was um, easy to find, but I got to make my own. And I think that's always a great option as well when you're thinking about things, especially because, everybody's home is different. And
Right.
if the main stores aren't putting out like things in your specific color schemes, or if you well, I was gonna say they do now have a wide vibe, because if you have like a coastal house, you can have the weird mermaid skeletons,
And the sand
or
dollar pumpkins.
or
Yeah.
if you have a gnome themed house, that's certainly well represented.
Or a
But
yoga studio, perhaps. Yeah.
but yeah, I think personalizing things and kind of making things that weren't necessarily meant to be Halloween into a Halloween thing is a fun way to add a little extra spice.
Add a little bit of spice.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's kind of the weird like nature of what we do too. Like the influence culture is,
Mm-hmm.
that everybody like there's almost this pressure to show something that everyone else can also get, because that's what
Yeah.
people want to see, is like what they can also have. So not all the time. I mean, obviously people like, Christine McConnell, who are making things that neither of us could ever make.
Never.
People love watching her do that. But it is this weird, like, you either have to kind of show people what they can get, or then like show something that everybody could feasibly replicate. And that becomes this weird like catch 22 of like, how do I make something really creative and cool that isn't already being done by a store?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's always tough. And I mean, I obviously you and I, as vintage loving
Hmm.
ladies, definitely experience that too. Like it's always, a little bit tragic when you see something super cool and you're like, oh, where did they get that? And they're like, it's vintage, and you're like, dang it.
Gah!
Oh, you can only find it through hard work and searching and luck. That's bogus.
And yeah,
But
well, and
that's the best, some of the
funds.
good stuff. Yeah.
when
Oh
you
yeah.
when you find vintage Halloween, it's
Oh
freaking,
yeah.
people know what they have, because Halloween wasn't the holiday it is now in 1960. Like there was very little made, and so when you find it, if dear listeners, if you find it, grab it,
Yes.
buy it, and then send it to us as a token of your. No, I'm kidding.
I am excited. I haven't been out yet. Usually my area doesn't get stuff for a while, although I know that it sounds like you are seeing stuff a little earlier than you do sometimes as well.
Yeah, yes and no. I I feel like I'm seeing more. I don't know how to phrase this correctly. I'm seeing a lot more in little quantities.
Yeah.
Like by this time last year, Old Time Pottery, which I know a lot of places don't have, but they were fully stocked by
Oh
this
wow.
point last year. I mean, I went there on June 9th, I think, last year, and they had like Halloween out. And then I went last week and they had nothing. They had like 5 things. So I'm seeing little bits in a lot of different stores.
Yeah.
So it's kind of a different type. Like, yes, I'm seeing it, but then in previous years, I've seen a lot more in one place at this
Mm-hmm.
point.
Just getting some dribs and drabs.
Yeah. I saw that
Mm.
some people are posting Dollar Tree already is getting, that's really early for them.
Hmm.
Dollar Tree is usually one of the last people to the party. So
Interesting.
that's
Yeah.
interesting.
Part of me wonders if places are gonna stock earlier, given like the amount of delays there have been in the past, and
Mm-hmm.
that people have been like, oh god, it took so long. And like since I feel like the culture of it is definitely shifting a little earlier, so I wonder if stores are planning to get stuff out earlier. So we'll just have to wait and see, I
I
guess.
honestly wonder if stores have stuff left over from
Oh
last
yeah.
year that they're putting
Hmm.
out,
Very
is what
true.
I'm wondering. Because some places didn't even get it until the season was over.
Yeah.
So now they're probably like, oh crap, we gotta get rid of this stuff. Put it out, the crazies will come.
We will. We will. Well, do you have any last thoughts or advice for our fellow Halloween hunters out there?
Just, make a plan as best you can. Come up with your themes, your ideas, your thoughts so you know what you're looking for. Try not to spend it all in one place, but have fun.
Yes.
That's the most
Yeah.
important part. Have a good time and don't fight anybody over a Ray Dunn mug. It's not worth it.
It's super not. Yeah, I was also going to say just have fun. Like, we're it can get stressful when there are things that you really want, but we're all just out here to make a cool space for our favorite holiday. So it's going to be awesome and spooky no matter if you get that headless horseman or whatever it is. So try to enjoy it and just feel the good vibes.
Yeah. And remember that you don't have to spend a lot of money to have a great Halloween.
Very true.
That's the other thing. You can create a great, as Penny said, create a vibe with some string lights and a couple pumpkins if you believe in
Yes.
yourself.
Yes, or I'm even thinking of like the Halloween collector made those super cool like rosettes out of black napkins
Yeah,
last year. Like there
I
are so
followed her
many.
tutorial for that,
Yes.
and they're really simple to make and awesome. So definitely, yeah, look up some fun DIYs that are cheap. You can get supplies at the dollar store and go nuts.
Go nuts. All right. Well, friends, we want to hear how your Halloween hunting is going. Have you seen any Halloween in the wild yet? Still waiting? Do you think that we are crazy for talking about shopping for Halloween decorations? In It'll still be June when this comes out. It'll be June.
Yeah.
But I feel like most of our listeners understand. And I know, I mean, sorry to all of our non-American listeners who definitely aren't getting any Halloween for a very
Uh,
long time still.
or at
So
all. So
our hearts
yeah,
go out to you.
yeah. Gosh, I I'm telling you, it's my one goal in life to open a store in in the UK or somewhere for our folks. We got to get something to them.
Right?
They need help.
They need a pumpkin injection.
A pumpkin injection.
All right. Well, thank you all for listening. This has been Ghouls Night In, a spooky chat show that you can rate and review on your podcast app of choice if you like it. It really helps us out, helps new people find the show. And we love to read your reviews. So if you leave one, we will probably read it right here on the air. And if you would like to follow along, you can find us at Ghouls Night In Pod on Instagram. And you can find me across all platforms at Penny Snark.
And you can find me at Midge Munster.
And until next time, goodbye.
Goodbye.